So it's warmer here.
All
Okay.
right, we're
Progress on
on
five.
the air.
Negative, say nothing further. Just take care of me on the corner. That's a direct order. Do it now.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, April 24th, 2024. We are Roll Call, Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations. And I'm here with a few of my friends. Some are still on their way. But at the meantime, we have D here, who's our tech guy. He's taking care of everything you see with our tech and our videos and stuff. He's taking care, and the sound. He's taking care of that. We got Tyrone, who's working two jobs right now. We got Will Quick, who's one of our newest. I can't even call him new no more, but he done took over our chat. Um, no, he done jumped in with 2 feet, which is what we wanted. We wanted everyone to feel comfortable with each other, and we are really becoming that as a family. I got Derek, and Derek will be hosting us today. While I sit over here and try to monitor some of the stuff with CJ when she comes back on, try to monitor some of the comments online. We got Mark. Mark and I just left an event together, a promotional ceremony with two officers that got promoted to sergeant. I'll mention that in a few minutes. We got Jerry from Jersey. And Jerry, listen, y'all, y'all don't understand this. Y'all don't hear Jerry talk on the show. Y'all don't hear him talk on the show. We get a mouthful before the show. That half hour, Jerry be gone. You know? So we're gonna try to ease Jerry into talking on the show too. And then we got look like sleepyhead Dave over there. Like he about to call it. Don't worry, if he go to sleep, I'll cut the video off. We got Cheech. Cheech is probably doing double duty as well. We got West Coast Rich. Rich is over there from the West Coast. So he's the only one from the West Coast. And sometimes he feels like he's by himself, but we all in this stuff together. Only thing different between Rich and ourselves is 3 hours.
Exactly. Mhm.
Then we got CJ. CJ is transitioning from the car to the home. So
Who?
we got CJ with us as
Who?
well.
Who's that?
All right. Let's go with the
Catwoman.
need introduction moment of silence. That gets to all of us every time we hear it, because we know that could have been us. If it wasn't us, it was someone that we probably worked with or worked in the same field as us. So please bear with us when we go through that, because it means a lot to those who have retired and those who are actively involved in law enforcement. I'm going to ask that Cheech would give us our disclaimer and Rich give us our statement of purpose.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Before we get started, we wanted to go over a couple of things. First and foremost, anything that we say on roll call is not intended to be legal advice for our listeners or suggestions. Remember that the laws change from city to city, state to state, so please consult with the local attorney or your local police department for any legal advice. Also, once in a while, we display videos that may be graphic in nature or photographs. We use these to spark our conversations. They are not the property of roll call. We get these from social media like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all that good stuff. So the public does have access to them. They are not intended to offend anyone. So if we are going to display one that we may think may offend you or be too graphic, a panel member will let you know ahead of time that is coming. Also, the language used by our members is very spontaneous. We don't hold back. We all speak our truth. It is uncensored. Please don't take offense to it. We do not take offense to it. You might see that we do not agree on some topics, and we may go back and forth, but we never take it personal, so we hope that you don't. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Cheech. Rich?
Yes, good afternoon. We are Roll Call Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations. We are a pro-law enforcement group. That means we back the blue. We're for equitable policing. We're against racism, and Black Lives Matter. If you're here with us today, you can come up on the chat if you have any questions, and we'll see if we can address that. We're glad you're here. Thank you.
Thank you. And the name Roll Call Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations came from Rich. We all had a little vote on it, and Rich is the one who's responsible for the name. Roll Call Black, White, and Blue for Better Relations. Okay, let me see. We're still praying for JT and his wife Orlando, Cheech and his wife Anna, AC and his wife Jeanette, which I'm going to probably move them off the list because they seem like they're moving forward. And I say that because you don't even see my name on this list. Today, I just want to say this, today marks 5 years that my father passed away. 5 years to the day. He went in on Easter Sunday morning, April the 12th. He was in there for 12 days and transitioned early on the 24th in the morning. So we're praying for my mother and the rest of my family at this time. Today, Mark and I had the great privilege of attending a promotional ceremony for Tiffany Gordon and Detective Steve Wilson is a good friend of ours. They both were promoted to sergeant with the Hempstead Police Department. So we're happy about that. I believe, and also I think it was today, Will Quick got a new job as a substitute teacher, I think he said, in the school district. So listen, we got some good people on this panel right here. Not only are we retired, we went back to work. We taking some of y'all money. Listen, we get hired for the second, third, and fourth time. You know, I'm going on 19 years as a pastor of my church. That's another retirement for somebody. You know, but here we are today. Derek is going to lead us in our conversation today. So let us try to use our hands if you can. We know there's times you can't, and you know, just throw it on up. And Derek, we'll try to do it. Derek, I'll be over here to help look at this stuff as you're going through.
All right, good enough. Welcome, everybody, and not just the people that I see on the screen, but the people that I don't see on the screen, the people that are out there on Facebook Live. Welcome, everyone. We're going to start off the show today with Mr. D. He is going to show us a video. I believe the first one is pertaining to the Carmelo Anthony incident.
Okay. Just I want
Oh,
to.
oh,
Yeah, the first one I wanted to do. This week we lost the Pope, and I just want to do a
Okay.
video, just to give him some.
All right, we are taking a live look at the Vatican this morning. People around the world mourning the death of Pope Francis, who died yesterday at the age of 88. The Vatican has confirmed that the pontiff died of a stroke, which ultimately led to heart failure. His funeral has been set for Saturday morning.
Here in the United States, tributes to the Pope continue pouring in. NBC's Alice Barr has more.
As tributes pour in for the People's Pope, who led the Catholic Church toward a more progressive path.
Pope Francis had a way of getting the church to think outside the box.
Centuries-old traditions are underway. While the faithful mourn, cardinals are at the Vatican going through details of the funeral, their first meeting since Pope Francis's death at 88, caused, the Vatican says, by a stroke and heart failure. President Trump preparing to attend the funeral in the coming days.
He was a good man, worked hard. He loved the world.
Though as dignitaries descend, Pope Francis is being remembered most for his devotion to the least among us.
He is the Pope of the poor, the Pope of the marginalized, underprivileged.
With a heart for children, Jocelyn Aquino met Pope Francis when she was just 12 years old, greeting him on his one and only visit to the U.S. back in 2015. The daughter of immigrants from El Salvador spoke in Spanish with the first Pope from Latin America.
This is the leader of the Catholic Church. This is the most powerful man. And I was just like, wow, you spoke to me in my native language. Like, it was just amazing.
A leader who spoke to so many, even beyond the Catholic Church. He addressed Congress on that trip to Washington, never shying away from voicing his views, from ending the wars in Ukraine and Gaza to advocating for immigrants and moving toward acceptance for the LGBTQ community. Often at odds with traditionalists, he cemented his legacy as a reformer. As cardinals prepare for the conclave to elect his successor and decide the next direction for the Catholic Church. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
all right. That kind of touches me. That gentleman was the exact same age as my mom, so it just kind of cements our mortality for us. You know what I mean? So definitely something to think about. A sad moment. Hopefully, they make a very good choice moving forward, and that's it.
You got D's hand.
Okay, I do not. There you go. I see it. Okay, D.
The different color. I just wanted to say, with all the challenges that we've been facing lately here, lately's been a long time. I can't even say lately. Let's keep God in it. This is a reminder that our leaders and our religious leaders are leading by example. Let's take that example. I know some of us don't have the ability, but I believe you're going to have to answer for everything you're doing one day. That's why I live where I do. I believe that this earth is round and picks up speed, and then things comes back to you. Certain things I believe in, and when we lose a major and being the head of the Catholic Church, that's people around the world. That's billions of people around the world that follow the Catholic Church, and let's just keep God in it. Let's let this be a reminder that there's something better than what we're going through right now, and we just got to stay the course. That's all I want to say.
All right. Next up, we have Rich.
Yeah, real quickly, I just wanted to say this man touched a lot of hearts throughout the world. He was a humble man who loved everyone. It was the human condition that he cared about the most. You know, his heart went out to the poor. I mean, right before he died, he washed some prisoners' feet. You know, that's just the kind of man that didn't stay in the ritzy part of the Vatican. He was in a humble abode. Everything about him was humble, real, and loving. And, you know, such a great, wonderful man, moved by God, loved people. And he'll always be remembered as one of the greatest popes that lived. So that's all I want to say.
All right, well said. And I found it ironic that they had to chime Trump in the middle of his tribute.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Donald?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you know, as a preacher, as a pastor, we don't always agree with all denominations and all thoughts, but I think we all need to respect the ideas and the thoughts from other religions and stuff. So my granddaughter asked me, she said, "Well, who is the Pope?" I said, "He's the leader of the Catholic Church." And she said, "Well, what about our religion?" I said, "Well, we have different denominations within the Baptist denomination, but in my particular denomination, we have the president of the National Baptist Convention, and he's pretty much our leader." And she then said, "Well, will he be on the news like that too?" I said, "I don't know. He may make the news, but the Catholic is a real large organization, institution. So it's a very large organization. So probably not like that, but it would probably make the news." So my thing is just, let's just keep the respect. That's all. Whether you agree with it or don't, because we have a few Catholics on here, few persons that practice Catholicism, and I respect that. Even those who practice Islam, I respect that. You know, I don't have to agree with everything. I don't agree with everything that my denomination teaches, but I respect it. All right, and that's all I want to say to those who are listening. You know, because some people said to me, "Well, why are you giving so much honor to the Pope?" Well, you know what? Because he was a leader. He was a leader of a big denomination, and whether you agree with it or not, he was still a leader. And Mark and I were talking about some stuff today that you may not like a leader, but the leader's not always wrong. Leaders, I mean, we said that we were talking about Trump. All right, let's just be plain. Trump didn't say everything wrong. There's some things Trump said that I agree with. Now, Mark may not agree with it, but so I'll throw myself under the bus, Mark, that I agree with, that others don't agree with. You know, but just because it is him does not make it wrong, and that's my real point. And I respect the office of president. All right.
And we had a hand up, and it was a hand that isn't usually up.
I saw it.
Down now, but I want to come back to her, Jerry. Don't try to skate out on us. Come on now.
It's just I'm not the only, but I am Catholic.
Yep.
And the Pope was and I said it in our chat, a very strong vessel for our Father, the Son of God, Jesus Christ. He created a lot of bumps and, you know, I wouldn't call them bumps, but at least ebbs and flows in the water, because he was a believer in all of us are children of God. We got our ups, we got our downs, we got our bads, and he was willing to open and say, "I'm not going to say you cannot come to our Father's house because you happen to be bisexual. But he created a lot of real ebbs and tides in certain things. The Donald Trump thing, I kind of think Donald Trump's jealous of the fact that Vance was there with him the day before he died. And he's like, Vance is not going to upstage me. I'm going to go to his funeral. My thought, that's Jerry's thoughts about Donald Trump deciding he wants to, because the Pope and Donald Trump he had problems with Donald, and the fact that Donald has issues with migrants, because guess what? Most people are migrants. Yes. And again, our Pope was like, no, I'm not going to say you can't, because we are all children of God, and I want you to all experience and love that. So again, God help us as who's going to be chosen when they do the white smoke after. But he was a good man.
Okay.
He was a good man.
All right.
A human, henceforth, not perfect. Sorry, but a good man.
Well, listen, you got no argument here, man. You got no arguments here.
Thank you for your commentary there, Jerry. And
Nothing but love.
And I don't know if the people out there could see what Jim wrote. What Jim actually wrote, that Trump has no beliefs; he is transaction.
They can't see our chat.
Oh, okay. Well, that was put in our chat. There we go.
Yeah.
The other side of it, Trump don't know what he believes. He don't know what he believes. 1 second he thinks, by the time he finishes the sentence, he's on the other side of that same belief. I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut up again. I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to, Jerry. No. We welcome your voice.
Right.
Yeah.
And we miss your voice when we don't hear it. Obviously, the people, they don't get to hear it much, but we hear it more than them. We miss it when we don't hear it. So please speak up as often as possible. And I believe we have another video coming by Mr. D.
Yes, sir. This case is going on in the online and out there. Anthony, this gentleman killed another young gentleman at a game. Let's take a look and we can discuss.
Let's bring in the man who will be responsible for justice in this case, District Attorney Greg Willis. Thank you very much for joining me, sir.
Good to be with you, Chris.
So you have charged first-degree murder on the books in your state. That means he knew what he was doing. He had time to plan and think about what he was doing, and he did it with an intent to kill. Is that what you believe?
Well, let me just say this. That's what he has been arrested for. My office has not yet received the case. But I will say this, Chris, this case has really struck a nerve in our community. I mean, people are upset, and rightfully so. I mean, we've lost a young life, and the pain is real. At a time like this, it's hard for anyone to be level-headed about this, but that's our job, to be steady, be fact-based, and to follow the truth wherever it may lead.
What do you need to know under the law in your jurisdiction for self-defense to apply?
Well, as you can imagine, it's very fact-based, and of course, I can't address the particular case, but that's what's so important. For Frisco is still in their investigation, and whenever they finish that up in the next few weeks, they will forward it to my office. We will vet everything very, very carefully and ultimately prepare it for a grand jury presentation. And so the grand jury will decide whether this case goes forward. I mean, I would expect it to, because most cases do go forward, but I can't comment on this particular one.
I got it. I just want people to understand the standard. What does self-defense mean under your law?
Well, it gets pretty involved, but I can just say that I'm trying to tiptoe around it so it doesn't look like I'm commenting on this particular case. But self-defense law in most states is pretty similar when you're not talking about the Castle Doctrine or something like that. So, people look at the degree of response, what the person is defending themselves against. I mean, I think people know about that, so I'd rather not get into the specifics of this.
It's not a stand your ground jurisdiction, is it?
Well, in a situation like this where you're at a school, well, there I go. If you're outside of your home, then I would just say it's a pretty reasonable thing. People can say, hey, what's reasonable under the circumstances? And this person felt threatened for their life. How did they respond? Did they not feel threatened for their life? Did they feel something less than that? Then the law in Texas is similar to most states, which is if you're going to respond in self-defense, it needs to be proportionate to that situation.
Is this the trickiest case you've ever had to handle, not in terms of the facts and the law, but in terms of the optics and the overlay of the attention it's already getting? Because, let's be honest, because of the race and the race of the victim and the alleged assailant.
Well, it might be. The case is not even in our office yet, so I could certainly comment on that afterwards. I know it has really caught the attention of our community and around Texas and apparently the country. And people feel deeply about, our youth, our education, sports, and as you said, the other dynamics that are involved. And so there's a lot of different factors that make people care particularly about this case. And that's why it's so important as the prosecutor for me to be level-headed, fact-based, steady, and just follow the truth wherever it may lead.
DA, there's going to be a ton of noise. The invitation is open for you and your team and the eventual defense team. You want things that are put straight and put in context. You have an invitation here that's open for the duration of the investigation and any adjudication that follows.
Well, thank you very much. You know, this is a heartbreaking case. But even in heartbreak, we have a responsibility to do the right thing and in the right way, and my office will do that.
Well, we'll all be watching, and thank you, Greg Willis, for coming on and taking the opportunity. Good luck going forward.
Thank you for having me.
All right, be well. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com.
This is a very interesting topic, and it's kind of personal to me because there's certain things that are going on, you know, in the media and on YouTube, and certain trigger words and buzzwords and things like that. But I'll get to me. First, we'll have Will, and then we'll have Jerry.
Well, actually, I thought Jerry's hand went up first, but I'll try to be quick. One of the points that the interviewer asked was in regards to stand your ground, because I think that's going to be a huge issue with regards to this case. So I looked it up for Texas, and their stand your ground law reads kind of like this: allowing individuals to use force, including deadly force, in self-defense without a duty to retreat, provided they are in a place where they have a legal right to be and are not engaged in illegal activity. This means they don't need to try to escape the situation before using force, as long as they reasonably believe it's necessary to protect themselves from imminent harm. So now, from following this case, the young man who is now being charged with the death of the other young man, initially, of course, since it was a stabbing wound, there was a presumption that there was a knife involved. If it being a knife, then because he was on school grounds, then he had a legal weapon. Turns out it was not a knife. He had a spike sharpener, which was a tool that they utilized for track spikes that he reasonably could have there. And in addition to that, the information that's come out is when he was confronted by the now deceased with his brother right next to him, he gave him condition: if you touch me, then this is what's going to happen. It wasn't like he launched a preemptive attack. He gave him the option: as long as you don't touch me, you don't have to worry about what I'm going to do. But that wasn't observed. So I just want to throw those two quick points out there, because I know other folks are going to bring some other points, and we can circle back to wherever they tie in with each other.
Right. And next we have Jerry, then we'll have Dee and Dave.
So help me, and I think you kind of maybe did, Will. What is the Castle Doctrine?
The Castle Doctrine
is that the okay?
No, that's not the Castle Doctrine. The Castle Doctrine is an expansion of your stand your ground, specific to your home, your vehicle, someplace where it's not just where you have a right to be, but also a right to the privacy in that space. So your home, your vehicle, maybe your workspace, as opposed to this being in what otherwise would be considered just a public space.
My other thoughts were, thank you. My other thoughts were, because I saw that particular video that we just played, and with that, it made me look a little deeper, because when I saw Carmelo Anthony, I immediately thought of the basketball player, but I was like, I think he spells his name with a C, because I thought this kid may have been his child. But I was like, okay, let me dig a little deeper. And with that, I watched a few videos concerning it, because I didn't know about the track meet and all of that. And then I heard about the tents, and I was like, well, why did Carmelo choose the tent with people? And I said, well, maybe everybody did not look like Carmelo. I mean, like the victim and his twin brother. But I was like, he chose that. And then I read or heard about the conversation that he had with him when he said, don't touch me if you do. I heard all of that. And then I even came up with the bright idea that's just a Jerry idea, that when and I did not realize it was something for you to utilize for spikes or whatever at a meet. I'm thinking even a knife. He pulled it out, because I was like, okay, in Texas, lucky he had a knife and not a gun. But okay, he had a knife, and it wasn't a knife, it was something else. And then I'm thinking he pulled it out, and this is Jerry, not real, don't know. You had a tent with all these, and I'm going to be real, white boys, and you pull it out, and somebody behind him maybe hit him, henceforth he lunged forward, henceforth his intent may not have been to really hurt that guy, but someone just hitting him could have pushed it to the point, because I also heard in things that I saw, he was like, is he okay? That was his immediate reaction. So my thought was, it was not necessarily his intent to indeed harm him, but that was just me looking at it all.
All right. Well, good thoughts. And like Will said, we'll tie everything together after everyone talks. And up next we have Dee.
Yeah, really quick. Thanks, Will, for providing that about the spike sharpener. Usually when I play the video, I try to get as much information in as I can, and then afterwards I want to give a little context, because I know this has been in the news and so many people have been watching it, so I didn't want to just play the incident and then we have all these questions and all this information. So I tried to do this from an informational standpoint. But let me just say this. The young gentleman that got stabbed was in the tent area. The other young gentleman went and sat in the tent area, and the first gentleman, the deceased, decided he didn't want him there. And the understanding is, again, I wasn't there. The reports are he put hands on him, and then he got hit with the spike sharpener. And I just wanted to say this before. I don't want to circle around because I know a lot of us are going to have a lot. Let me say this. I'm a little older. I'm an old guy. I've been around a long time. And I've been around in a lot of places where people would consider them not very good places, right? I was born in Brooklyn, New York in the 70s. Come on, Derek. Dave. Come on, right? Brooklyn in the 70s, burnt out buildings. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? They used to call it Beirut. There were certain doctrines. You want to talk about the castle doctrine. There were certain doctrines that we grew up with. And it made me think of this when I saw this in the news. Keep your hands to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do that anymore. Now, every response to everything that you may not like, or you having a bad day, or it's Monday, you want to put your hands on somebody. And this was drilled into me walking down Fulton Street in Brooklyn, in Bedford-Stuyvesant. You keep your hands to yourself. I want to give that message to our young people because they're not getting that message. That's not a message that their parents are giving them, their grandparents are giving them, and I'm probably their grandparents' ages. You got to keep your hands to yourself. Twofold. First of all, who said it? I think Jerry said it. You don't know what the other person's got. A lot of times you bring a knife to a gunfight. You bring a fist to a knife fight. Somebody gonna lose. Second of all, this is what happens when the result, somebody falls, hits their head, somebody bleeds out, somebody has a heart attack because you grabbed them. All of these things come into play, and you find yourself facing major consequences because you just couldn't keep your hands to yourself. What would have been the problem of that kid sitting there? What would have been the problem of me not liking that kid? I sit in a lot of places with people I don't like. I wait till the plane lands and I get off. We got to stop. And I'm talking mainly to the young people because some old people got this problem too. You got to stop thinking you can just put your hands on somebody because as you say, look around this room, you're going to put your hands on the wrong person and then you're going to have a whole set of problems you weren't bargaining for.
Mm-hmm.
The idea to avoid that, keep your hands to yourself. Doctrine number one, and I'm out.
All right. Next up, we have Dave.
Yeah, a couple of things. I'm going to turn into a homicide detective here. Okay. Why didn't the kid want that brother sitting there? Was it because he was black?
I can answer that. He was from the wrong team, whatever that means.
Okay, so he's black. Okay. Now, as I'm going to be a homicide detective here, the victim, the young man who put his hands on his kid, I want to know I'm going to do a victimology on him and his family. See, what other black folks like that have their son put hands on, or what other black folks have they had problems with in the past? In a case like this, in that racist ass state, you have to. It's only fair to look at the victim's family also, okay, and his computers and every damn thing else, social media, all of that, okay. Because in New York, I don't know if we're handling the case. I don't know if that kid would have been arrested right away. And I know because we've cut people loose on the scene from homicides who did it in self-defense.
Right.
See, and it's very touchy, but it's not touchy. You just can't have lazy ass detectives and blindfolded, clouded mind district attorneys. You have to look at everything, every issue. Upbringing. We do background checks on your grandma. I don't give a damn if she live in goddamn Mars. Because we want to know why is this kid so angry to want to put hands on a guy sitting in a damn tent who looked like me? That team, come on, man, I was a wrestler. We didn't do that shit in the damn locker room. Both teams in the damn locker room. We talk shit, I'm gonna whoop your ass today. That's gonna be it. Don't even go up on the mat because you done. But damn. You gonna go put hands on this brother you don't know. Mm-hmm. No background on him. Okay? And he uses this thing, not a knife, not a gun, but what he can grab onto to save his own ass. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I wouldn't have been so fast to lock him up like that. I wouldn't have. And I'm not just saying it because he's black. I'm just saying it because this is a shitty investigation starting off here. And that district attorney, I understand he can't really get into the case, but he looked kind of shady. He sounded shady too. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I don't know how they get appointed down there, but he sounded shady. And some of y'all might not understand where I'm coming from, but as a homicide detective, he sounded fucking shady. Okay? This is not a goddamn puzzle. Well, you gotta sit and figure this shit out for fucking 6 hours. Okay? This shit, man, it looks like more like, okay, we can figure this out. Just give me some manpower. You guys do this. You guys do this part of the investigation, and I'll do this, and then we'll come to a conclusion. I'm just saying. I'm done.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we have Jim and then Jerry.
No, you got Donald.
Oh, here you go. I didn't see your hand. Jim, Donald, and then Jerry. Gotcha. Okay.
I don't really know anything about this case, but now I do by listening to everybody here. Now I'm starting to piece it together. And of course, I'm going to agree with Dave that there's a lot of facts that need to be investigated here as to how this all took place. But one of the first things that hit me, which has nothing to do directly with the case, has to do with the charge. And if you have something in your hand that could hurt or kill you, so it doesn't have to be a knife or a gun, and you say, if you do this, I'm going to do this to you, that's where the premeditation comes in. So that's where they're going to go. The other side is self-defense. So are you allowed to say, if you attack me or assault me, I'm going to do X back to you? Is that self-defense? And that's going to come to whether the act matches the assault or and I'm just talking now from the defense and the prosecution, based on the little bit I know about this case, which is the young black kid had something in his hand that was used to clean cleats or something to that effect. I'll assume, and I'm really kind of lost here. I'll assume was sharp enough to stab and kill somebody. Would that anybody that knows that thing that he had, is that a fact?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you stab hard enough, it's a thin piece of metal.
It could be this. It could be this pencil, right? I mean, I could use this pencil. Say you come near me, I'm going to poke your eye out with this pencil, but it's. I was trying to find where does the premeditation first degree murder come in, and that can only be associated with his statement. So the defense attorney would probably go right after that, because if he's claiming self-defense, then that statement should really fall apart. I don't know if I'm making myself clear, because I'm trying to come up with, why do you charge first degree? Why do you charge premeditated murder from an obvious, assault, an interaction, a fight? It's, how do you charge first degree? And all I could come up with is the statement, if you do this, I will do that to you. So you're premeditating the next step.
Well,
I wish Kyle was here, because she could help me out a lot better.
I don't think that's premeditated, Jim. I had a U.S. Marine brother, guy tried to steal his car in a snowstorm. He said, "Get away from my car and don't come near me." And the guy came near him and put hands on him, and a big tussle started. And the Marine wanted to have him choke him out, kill him. Okay? And he didn't even leave the 113 precinct. He left the 113 precinct a free man.
Well, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something.
I did the interview with that guy.
Let me ask you something, because what you're saying makes sense. But if that guy said to him, "Don't put your hands on my car, or I'm going to choke you to death," did that make a difference?
No, he didn't say that.
No, but I'm saying I agree. But what if he did say that?
Well, you can't defend property, for one.
But you know what? We do that all the time as cops, Derek.
Yeah,
Come on. How many times have we say, "Yo, you pull that fucking gun or that knife out, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna knock the shit out of you, I'm gonna kill your ass, I'm gonna pop you right here. Now get out of that car and come with me." And they done it. And
I'm just stretching this out. I'm just trying to stretch this out to find out. Hey, listen, they charged this kid with first degree murder, right?
This is Texas, man.
And that's the other thing. But
this is Texas. I'll tell you right now, that kid's got legal aid. He's fucked.
I know all that stuff, and I agree 100%. I'm just trying to justify in my mind how they even come to a premeditation, and all I could keep coming up with is because he said it.
All he said was, "Touch me and see what happens." He didn't say,
all he said.
"I'm going to stab you in the heart." He said, "Touch me and see what." That's it. Touch me and see what happens. And then the guy touched him. He touched him. He pushed him or something, and then he said, "Punch me and see what happens."
Right. So he never said, "I'm going to stab you. I'm going to kill you."
No. He said, "See what happens."
Well, then I have to apologize, because I don't know this case, and I didn't hear anything like that. So I'm making an assumption, in defense of a charge, that he said, "Come at me, hit me, and I'm going to kill you, or I'm going to stab you right now." Okay.
He said, "See what happens."
And I'll sit back.
All right. Next up, we have Donald.
Yeah. Being a track person, Derek and I and those who ran track know that they have tents out there. You will go under there, and sometimes it's for stretching, sometimes it's for other things. But in this case, I understand it was because it was raining, I think it was. And so they were there for that reason, for the, to get out of the rain. And he just didn't like for the reason. But I'm going back to what Dee said, keep your hands to yourself. Dee, when you said that, you reminded me of what I tell my daughters. I said, listen, don't be hitting nobody. Don't be hitting a male, especially. I said, and let me tell you that if you do hit them, at least expect to get hit back. Now, you may not get hit back, but at least expect to get hit back.
That's right.
You just don't put your hands on somebody and think that they're just going to ignore it, because somebody's going to swing back. So I tell them to keep your hands to yourself, period. That way you don't have to worry about something else coming back. Because there's some guys that really don't care. Some guys, if you hit me, you are getting it back.
Yep.
And that's how some guys are. So that was my point. And I'm going to go ahead and move on and let Jerry go ahead.
All right, so Jerry, you be careful. Don't be roughing people up out there.
Yeah, a little 5 foot's gonna knock somebody out. I'm just saying. Anyway, they did let the young man out on bail. I understood they posted bond or whatever. He's not. The last that I heard, he's not in jail any longer. He's got the ankle bracelet, and he's home. Even though I hear the mom and dad's homes changed a few levels, but that's another thing. However, there were pictures of the victim, and sometimes this guy looked like he might be me, 115 pounds and 5 feet, and sometimes he looked like he was Donald. So I'm like, I'm not sure who and what this young man really, Mr. Twin, looked like, varying. And then I want to also say that as I've looked into, because I didn't know, the father of the victim has been pushing back on people because the young man's family has been brutalized by, social media. People have threatened the family, have done certain things. And Carmelo's family has been threatened. And yet the victim's dad has said, y'all need to back off, hold up. So there was a question earlier about where his family came from. That white man has said, y'all need to stop this nonsense. Don't be attacking those people like that. I saw that in subsequent interviews with his father. However, I do believe, unfortunately, that Carmel's probably gonna get some time for this because there is a dead child.
Well,
that's it.
We'll see. Time will tell.
I know it might not.
CJ's hand is up, and I'm taking mine down because CJ's probably going to say exactly what I was going to say. So I'm taking mine down.
No, Donald, don't take yours down because my comment is not about the case. My comment is about the comments from our viewers.
That's what I was going to do too. So you got it.
Okay. So first of all, we have a few good days, good mornings, good afternoons that come from Donald Coleman, Sylvia Butler, Richard Bowden, and who else said hello? Beverly. Beverly's a regular. So then, excuse me, Donald, I see your comment about their funeral yesterday. We'll get to that lady later on. I'm sorry, Hot Diggity says Trump is I'm thinking this is a B shit word, but
buzzword.
Okay, it's a B buzz. This is bullshit word is what I'm looking at. So excuse my French. Okay, he says, and a TV star, the one thing he's mastered is the ratings games, and that's one thing we all know. He wants to know how big the crowd is, and his was bigger, yada yada. Richard Bowden also says, when I was a Boy Scout, one of the Scout laws is reverence. We respect the religious beliefs of others. And he was speaking on behalf of the Pope, the video of the Pope. Hot Diggity comes back and makes a comment pertaining to this particular subject. It was 95 South. So y'all know this is where this stuff is coming from the South. And then Marcus states the state already said, even with the threat assault, they're looking at prosecuting for unequal force. Guess that wouldn't play in Florida. Only stand your ground that I'm aware of. Marcus has a special hello for Beverly. So good morning, Beverly. And then he comes back and he says, true that case has nothing to do with race, technically. And then Eva says she also speaks to everyone. So just so you know, I'm trying to get to it, but I'm letting y'all in. So I want to make sure I kind of stay on point when we the comments are coming from our viewers. So I'm gonna be over here waving my hands. All right now.
Thank you, CJ. I'm trying to look at you too. So I know if I can get you up in there, I'll get you up in there.
It's good.
And next up we have Mark and then Will.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I'll try to make this quick. So Dave brought out a good point. I just kind of want to expand on one of his points. When you do a crime, it very much matters what state you're in, what municipality. We say this all the time to you guys, and sometimes you hear it and it just kind of like blah, blah, blah. But every municipality, every state there are different laws, and the laws are treated differently. And you, as a defendant, will be treated differently. If you take this specific case and move it around to every different state, there could be different charges and different outcomes. There's going to be different juries. There's going to be different perspectives. Okay. Dave also brought out a good point. You get interference sometimes. You as a police department want to charge this, but then that phone call rings and it's a political entity that's putting their pressure on your boss. And then it comes downhill and then you get pressured. And, you know, you can try to do the right thing sometimes, but at the end of the day, you're going to do what you're being told to do. And you're going to make it fit. And the DAs go through the same thing. The DAs can get pressured politically or by the public to push something a little more or a little less. That's why sometimes, and Donald can attest to it, you know, sometimes it's good to even get the clergy involved. Because if you can get the clergy involved, sometimes you have somebody there who can advocate for you as well. So I just want to touch on that. I got to answer the door real quick. My grandson's home. But where you do stuff will make a difference. And the outcome can be different. So same case, different states, different outcomes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Very, very good, Mark. And next up we have Will, and then I'm going to talk after Will.
So let me see if I can be quick about this. No pun intended. From my understanding,
Will quick is going to be quick.
the deceased young man, and obviously none of us are happy about the fact that he's no longer with us. But the deceased young man, the profile that they put up for him, he is, in addition to running track or on the track team, he is a highly sought after high school linebacker. Now, for those of us that play football or familiar with football, you know what the physical makeup is of a linebacker in general, let alone one from the state of Texas that's highly sought after. The clear picture for anybody here.
Well, maybe you got to make it clearer for Jerry then. Oh, she said either he looked like it was her size or my size.
No, I got it. He was a big boy.
He was definitely not your size, Jerry.
He was a big boy. Now, comparatively speaking, the young man who is now being prosecuted in this case, I'll try to utilize this. Jim, if you don't mind me utilizing you for a second. Jim, do you mind telling us how tall and how much you weigh right now?
5'10", 175.
You're 5'10", 175. I'm 5'9", 230 pounds, 235. If for whatever reason I decide that I want to focus my aggression upon you, your perception of my threat is going to be much greater compared to somebody who's your same size. Would that be fair to say? Okay, so everybody sees where I'm going with this, because by size comparison, the comparison between me and Jim seems to be relatively favorable compared to the deceased and the defendant being undersized compared to the deceased. Not only that, the deceased brother, twin brother, so presumably same size, was right there with him.
That's two threats.
Yes, exactly. So when the young man mentioned about, well, when we were talking about the premeditation issue, the young man gave a warning to a reasonable perceived threat and told him, if you carry out the threat that you're presenting to me, then you're going to see what's going to happen. And that's a reasonable warning compared to a perceived threat. So when he reached in his bag and he knew he had something that he could use to defend himself, because again, the narrative tried to set it up because it was a stab wound, that it was a knife. And they already had him dead to rights because they said he was supposed to have a knife on campus. That's probably where the premeditated came in, because of the fact that he had a knife on campus, or what was presented as a knife, that they said that he must have came there looking for trouble. But in fact, he had a tool that was reasonable for him to have for what he was doing there. So now your premeditation goes out of the window.
Flush it.
Will, can I jump in, Derek?
Yeah.
Will, you are killing it. I'm telling you right now, you hitting that nail on the head. I mean, that was a great analogy you just made. Great statement, great awareness, great thought process.
It will.
We just hope somebody on the jury has that same thought process.
Because I love it. I never saw anything that did not say it wasn't a knife. So I love the fact that you know that it wasn't a knife, because I, thought it was.
Hey, Don, since Will said that, Don,
yes.
I'm gonna go deeper as a detective. Now I want steroid testing for the victim and his brother.
Okay. No, I hear you.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious.
I know you are.
Big boy. And we know steroids also mess with our mental, right? It kind of
absolutely
right. Makes you a crazy ass animal. I know I played college ball, and them cats is nuts.
What's up, Mark?
Yeah, I just want to say, Dave, what you're saying once again is true, but not every police department has detectives like you.
Yeah.
And we are talking Texas. Hello.
I was going to say, nor do they care to have detectives like you, depending on who they would be charging or who it would hurt. But the twins were both linebackers. They're both over 6 feet tall. Okay. And I heard reports of as much as 220 pounds. Even they didn't look that heavy. They're probably over 200 pounds. And Carmelo Anthony was 5'8", 5'9", 130. So,
did you say 130?
130.
Did you say 130?
130, yes.
He's skinny like me.
So a very, very big size difference. I found it interesting that the DA said, we're going to charge him with murder one, but the case isn't in my office yet. So how the hell can you make a decision on what to charge him with if the case isn't in your office yet? And then what Mark said crystallized it. There's political pressure. And it could be from the public or more than likely from the Attorney General. That's where the real pressure could come from. Where the Attorney General could say, listen, you're going to charge him with X, Y, Z. I don't give a shit. And that's it. But we talked about the tents. So most of the time, these pop-up tents, either the school, like an assistant coach might bring them, or a parent might bring them. The kids usually hang out under the tents if it's really, really hot, so that they're in the shade, so that they're not weakened by the sun while they're waiting to run their event. And because the bleachers are public, and because a lot of these kids have grown up with each other, some of them have gone to elementary school together, some of them have gone to junior high together, but they go to different high schools. A lot of the kids know each other, or some of them have been running for years and they know each other. They sit under each other's tents all the time. It's perfectly normal. Also, boys have girlfriends on other teams, girls have boyfriends on other teams. People sit under the other team's tents, if the teams even have tents, because most teams don't. But there are no bleacher police up there grabbing people, trying to remove them from anyone's tent. Keep your hands to yourself, mind your business, leave people alone. If you're there to compete. You're not there to be the damn bleacher police. And when you go around putting your hands on people, things happen that you may not be prepared for. Mm-hmm. And just telling someone, touch me again and watch what happens, is not premeditated murder. And generally, premeditated murder means there had to be a plan in place. It has to be, you have to be able to prove the plan was executed, or it's against murder against a police officer. That's usually what murder one is in most states. But there's so many things that come into play that before I even saw the pictures of these two kids, I knew Carmelo Anthony was black and I knew Austin Metcalf was white. And I knew it because I heard the trigger words or the buzzwords. And the trigger words are animal and thug. And now, you never hear those associated with a white fella. Never. And right now, there's another case going on in the same state, in Texas, where a white kid named Cason Allison killed a Hispanic kid in school, in the bathroom. It happened during the school day, in school, in the bathroom. He stabbed this kid 4 times, twice in the back. Once in the back, once in the back of his leg. 2 times in the front, twice in the back. Kid ended up dying. And this happened, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. It wasn't even national news. Because when a minority gets killed, it's not national news, and especially if a white kid is doing the killing. Now, I think this case the trial just started this past Monday, but the case is a couple of years old, but you hear nothing about it. And no one's called Casey Allison an animal or a thug. No one called George Zimmerman an animal or a thug. No one called Kyle Rittenhouse an animal or a thug. And no one called Daniel Penny an animal or a thug. And Daniel Penny choked out another person that was about 120 pounds, grabbed him from behind, put him in a rear naked choke, took him to the floor, put him in a figure 4 leg lock while he was choking him for over 6 minutes. This kid was limp after 1 minute. He choked him for over 6 minutes, and he got invited to the damn Super Bowl by Trump and Vance.
Stop.
I got a quick point. Can I make this really quick point? Because Derek, you made this. The assault that ended that young man's life, he was stabbed one singular time, and the defendant disengaged at that point.
Yes.
He did not continue his attack. He used force reasonable to get this gentleman off of him. And unfortunately, it was sufficient enough that it ended his life.
Right. He stabbed and he ran. And left what he had there. Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, Derek, how many big time schools wanted that kid in Texas? University of Texas, Texas A&M, they got a lot of say down there.
Yeah. He was highly recruited. Another thing that's interesting, and I don't know if you all saw this, and I'm gonna preface this with, we of course can't be sure these things are real, but there was a picture on Austin Metcalf's social media page, and I don't know if it was the day before or the morning before the track meet, where his hand with an AR style rifle and a handgun, and a caption, "These monkeys better not show up at the track meet."
Yes.
These mofos?
These monkeys.
Monkeys. Oh,
right.
Jerry, you're crazy.
That's what I said before. That's why I said I want to do a background check on his whole family. Because racist shit like that goes unchecked.
Yep. So
Derek.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mark, you threw your hand up? Okay. Marcus says every state ruling has a right to be appealed all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States, I believe. Richard Bowden says Frisco County, Texas, is one of the most racist counties in Texas. Okay, and then Marcus says they say that about every county in Texas.
That's where I was going. I was like,
Marcus is crazy. And Deirdre, Derek's wife. It's so unfortunate that when there are literal lives hanging in the balance, often when thorny case like this occurs, we are confronted with the reality that the judicial system is an instrument of society that gets used to protect the haves and control the have-nots.
The have-nots.
As was pointed out, DAs, judges, and other elected officials will rule in their own political best interest rather than be impartial. Marcus then says, acquitted in New York, no less.
And the thing that is most unfortunate is that young man is dead. That's the bottom line of all of this. That young man is dead, and the other young man will have penalties and suffer. And
Jerry, I'm with you. I hate the fact that life is gone, but you know what I don't like? Listen, stay in your own lane.
Hello.
You know, if you just minded your business, just your business, just do what you came there to do, run track, stretch, warm up, do what you got to do. None of this would have happened.
Win, lose, yep.
And I'm checking his ass for CTE too. I want to look at his brain and that autopsy.
Thank you, but what CTE too?
Brain injury.
Concussion.
Football.
CTE. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's a concussion syndrome. It turns you violent. Some people turn suicidal. They used to give us aspirin.
It's injuries to the brain. Okay.
Yeah, they used to give me aspirin when I played fullback. Meanwhile, my headaches lasted a week sometimes.
Don't say that, Dig. I done had 2 or 3 concussions.
You know what I'm saying? I stopped my son from I had to stop my son. I had to get my son on the college football field. Grade 3 concussion. My son, oldest boy.
Chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
That's right.
Traumatic
It's a degenerative brain disease.
And
Dave, listen to this, Dave.
What's the C for?
Listen to this, Dave. Dave, this is what happened to me. My mother told me don't go off the block. I went off the block on my bike. Front brakes went into the front tire. Flipped over, land on my head. I'm scared to tell my mother anything now. We're in the house.
Because she told you not to, and you did it anyway. Okay.
We're in the house. Next, you know, I don't know this. And she says she comes into the bathroom. I'm on the floor. All four on the floor. Said, I can't catch the rabbit. He said, let me get this to the hospital.
There's a problem. There's a problem.
I'm on all four, or just going around the bathroom. I can't catch this rabbit. She said, let me get this. And she used the word, y'all, to the hospital.
You had a CTE for real, Donald.
Yeah, listen.
Y'all still got me Googling.
And that's
CTE.
probably why I have migraines. I suffer from migraines. But thank God I don't get migraines like I used to get them. I used to get them quite often. I may get one a year now, but every time you see me, I have a pill box on me. And in that pill box, there's migraine medication in there because I definitely don't want one.
I know that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why I curse so much.
That sounds like a good excuse, Don. I mean, I'm sorry, Don. Didn't mean to do that, D. I meant to do that.
I spoke proper English before I played college football. Now all I do is curse.
Okay, because y'all know I had to look and see what CTE was. So it's chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Yeah,
okay. I didn't know what CTE was. Huh?
See, you were going like this, and Will had already given it to us.
No, but I asked several times because y'all was saying a whole lot of stuff, and I was like, "Well,
yeah, Will gave it to us."
Yeah, he did.
She was talking at the time.
Probably.
Now in New York,
y'all want me to now shut up, and I'm gonna shut up.
You see how it is? You see how it is with these apartments? See how it is with these apartments? Now in New York, we would have checked for all of that shit if he was a star player.
Back in your hands, Derek. We're sorry, Derek.
Yeah.
No problem.
Richard Bell said you had the mother of all concussions.
Listen, I gotta find out what he mean by that.
And the last line that I saw said, eventually leading to dementia. That's what I said.
Yeah.
CTE, eventually leading to dementia.
Early onset dementia. Right. That's why if I'm Donald's mother right now, I whip his ass right now for lying for back in the day. Right now. Pastor, no pastor. I've teared his ass up.
She
right
said,
now.
yeah, you will always be my baby. I got you.
All right. Does anyone else have anything pertaining to Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf?
The only thing that I want to say is that I pray for Carmelo and his family because his life has been changed forever. And situations are kind of small. It's just like say hello when someone speaks to you, because if you, and Donald, you know where I'm coming from with this one. I say hi and you don't speak back, it could get ugly.
Yeah, I got
Donald,
you,
know. Last night, you know.
I got you.
There we go.
That was Bible study, y'all. So y'all don't think it's crazy when I say last night was Bible study.
Oh yeah. Please clarify that.
I had to clarify so they wouldn't think nothing strange. It was Bible study last night, y'all. I'm just saying. You were there too, Dave.
Why you always got to give me up? Come on, man.
Because I love you, Dave. I love you too. I love everybody here. I love all of us. We are one. We are family. And I'm gonna put myself on mute again.
She did it right away. All right, Dee, we have another video. Are we moving on to another subject here?
Yeah, let's move on to another video. I call this the gym segment. We're going to talk about the Dallas school shooting. The 17-year-old that he actually turned himself in. Let's take a look.
Police say the suspect responsible for a school shooting in Southeast Dallas yesterday is now behind bars. And the district has not given details about how that gun made it to campus or the circumstances leading up to the shooting.
Fox 4's Peyton May live this morning from Wilmer Hutchins High School with the latest on the investigation. Peyton.
Yes, Brandon, Tracy Haynes Jr. turned himself into Dallas County Jail last night and is facing felony charges. Now, according to an arrest warrant affidavit, a student let Haynes inside the school through an unsecured door around 1 yesterday afternoon. Police say he opened fire at a group of male students, striking 5 people. Dallas Fire Rescue took 4 to the hospital, saying 1 had serious injuries and the rest were non-life-threatening. This is the second time a shooting has happened at the school in just over a year, and parents are frustrated.
And I'm thinking about taking them out and putting them in homeschool. Because it's something, I can't keep going through this as a parent.
The last thing anyone thinks when they're bringing their children to school, whether it's a high school or whether your spouse or significant other is going to work, is to think that these things are happening. But they do happen, and they shouldn't be happening.
Police don't know the motive for the shooting. Haynes is charged with 4 counts of aggravated assault mass shooting. His bond is set at $600,000. Now, school is canceled for the rest of the week, and counselors will be available on campus for students and staff who need more support. School will resume next Tuesday. Reporting live in Dallas, Peyton May for Good Day.
Paramedics now say 2 of the wounded students have been released from the hospital in Dallas, while 2 others are still recovering from surgery right now. We also just learned some new details about the suspect, who investigators say apparently fired randomly into a crowded hall. Just a warning here, Cole Sullivan has some new video of the moment the shooting started, but for some of you, it can be hard to watch.
Trigger alert. You can see the terror. Students inside Wilmer Hutchins High School running for their lives. Surveillance video verified by WFAA shows the moment police say Tracy Haynes started shooting indiscriminately, firing point blank at one fellow classmate, then taking off.
He got you.
Hours later, this video shows the 17-year-old turning himself into officers outside the Dallas County Jail.
The first thing he's doing is he's trying to shake the officer's hand, like saying I'm not a threat, I guess.
Anton Lucky, the president of violence prevention group Urban Specialists, brought Haynes to surrender after his family called the group's gun violence hotline.
He adamantly said, "No, I got to deal with this. I want to turn myself in. I don't want to go on a run." And that struck me. I mean, that stuck out to me.
Investigators say this photo shows Haynes inside the school after an unidentified student let him in an unsecured door. Paramedics say the gunfire sent 5 students to the hospital, 4 wounded in the shooting, 1 an hour later with an anxiety attack.
Honestly, at first I thought it was a drill.
Teachers locked doors and told kids to hide. Hundreds of others started running. After the second shooting in a year at this southern Dallas school, Haynes now faces a charge of aggravated assault mass shooting, a first-degree felony, but questions remain.
We still don't know why.
Today at Wilmer Hutchins, quiet, a big change from the chaos just 24 hours before. School here is canceled for the remainder of the week. Counselors are available as students, staff, and families try to deal with the chaos of yesterday. In Dallas, I'm Cole Sullivan.
Another sad day in school land in America here. Jim, what do you have, sir?
I'll make it short. Everybody here knows how I feel about guns and especially school violence. I don't know all the facts of this case. I think they said they don't really know why or what triggered it. But my main question is, and I watched that gun he had in his hands. I mean, that was a multi-round magazine that he had coming out of that firearm. So how did he get his hands on that? And people may say, how did he get into school? You get into school. You heard how he got into school. Kid opened a door for him. That happens every day in every high school all the time. That's going to happen. But he had a gun. How did he get it? Whose was it? Some of these states now, one of these states in Michigan, if you recall, and I'm all for this,
So his parents.
who had they both got convicted of the shootings and are serving time, the parents, because they knew this kid had issues, and they were okay with him having a gun. Now, I don't know this case if it's the same thing, but if it is, then maybe that's the key here. Maybe start expanding the guilt on people that are in control, or that should know better, or should have notified the
authorities.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's a whole different level of discipline, where you have to watch your children for how dangerous they might be to the general public or to their classmates. Dave?
Yeah, lock his ass up and grab that kid who opened up the door for him, because it seemed like it was planned for him to open up that door for him. And that looked like a damn Tech 9 machine gun or something, machine pistol. What he had in his hand, that thing was large as I don't know what, and with a long clip in it. And he looked like he came there to shoot multiple people. And he did. And he did. And whatever he did, whatever the reason was, man, I'm sorry, man. You don't do that, because innocent people get killed too, and shot, and traumatized the rest of their damn life. Teachers traumatized, students traumatized. Okay, and I want to grab the guy who opened up the door for him. Say, what the hell is this about? Get your ass in here and sit your ass down and tell me what's going on. But I'm sure they're doing that. And lock his ass up. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but lock his ass up. That's it. And I do want to know what I agree with Jim. Okay, was this gun in your home where your parents were, and did they know about it?
Yes.
Okay, because if you did, you just as bad as he is, and your son's volatile with his temper. That's it. I'm done.
Wow. Yeah, and oddly enough, everyone that does this doesn't have a temper. Some of them are just a little bit off. They're a little bit different. Some of them are kind of loners, and I don't know what triggers people to make them do things like this, but there have been so many different types of people to do these types of things. It's really interesting, and I wish that collectively, as Americans, we could find out what made people do things like that, and put a stop to it.
You got Jim and CJ, then myself, and D, and then myself.
Okay, Jim?
Yeah, just so we know, look, parent responsibility, nobody is saying that every parent who has a child that doesn't act like that is responsible, because you could be the best parent in the world and do everything right. But in these cases, especially the ones that were convicted, they knew better. So if you're a parent and you have a gun in the house, and you know your child, so you've got two very important things to do. That weapon's got to be safeguarded. And if you have a child that has some issues, some emotional issues or other issues in the school or with his associates, you had another responsibility. So there's more of a responsibility on the parent. It's not a generalized thing. I mean, you can do like I said, the right things as a parent, and the kid could go out and buy a gun from a guy on the corner and commit an act. You can't be responsible for that. But if you're responsible for the guns in your home, and you're responsible for your own child and their emotional issues, then you should be accountable for their actions. And maybe, just maybe, that'll give a little bit more gun control, because maybe some of these parents are going to say, you know what, I don't think I want a gun in the house, because Junior is kind of, I can't trust Junior, so I'm not going to have a gun in the house. I don't want to say anything else about that, but
All right, CJ.
I was going to be able to play devil advocate here, because I'm hearing the comments that are being made, like, blah, blah, blah. But what if this young man was a victim of bullyism? What if he had been fed up with being hazed or troubled or traumatized by classmates. And I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying at this point, he had enough, and he showed up. Now I'm not trying to even get into the part about the parents, Jim. So I'm bypassing
No.
part.
I wasn't going to go there. See, I'm just going to say to you real quick that most of them are what you said. Most of the students are exactly what you're saying.
All right, because I'm just saying, I was bullied for a minute when I was I went from Franklin School to Prospect School. And when I left Franklin and came to Prospect, I was the new kid on the block. And they chased them little rowdy knuckleheads, chased us home for me and my two sisters for about 3 weeks when we first got over to that school. And my grandmother was like, y'all gonna come down Peninsula Boulevard every day. But we don't even know how we lived on Mason Street. And she put us in Prospect from Franklin, but it was permitted. She went up there and told them there was a Black principal at Prospect School, and she wanted us to be caught up under the Black principal. Dr. Hayes was his name. She put us there, and we had to walk down Peninsula Boulevard. Now, y'all know Prospect School to Mason Street was a long-ass walk, excuse me, but it was. We could have cut through on South Franklin, come on through the park side, and got home, but she didn't want us to come that way. And we were chased home for 3 weeks in a row by these being a new kid on the block. We didn't go to this extreme, but I'm just saying, if you get to a point where you're being tired of being chased, people calling your names, and you don't even know these little knucklehead kids, but now you got a new nickname and some other mess going on, you do get fed up. I've been fed up a time or two myself. And I was fed up with my coworkers, AC. Look at Mr. Innocent, huh? What?
I say, yeah, and just like this guy.
You said that to say what?
You fed up.
AC has abused me, y'all. He was one of the people that abused me when he got there.
He came in as a rookie abusing a veteran, huh? All right.
I'm sorry. I'm done.
Next up, we have D.
Yeah, just really quick, a couple of quick things. I know we're coming to the end, but something Dave said. That kid had his firearm had an extended clip. That extended clip is the reason for that extended clip is to
create more targets,
create the maximum damage, get the most rounds out as quickly as you can. Most of us that are
hurt and kill.
No, that's seconds. I don't. It would only take seconds. I'm grateful that there was no loss of life.
Hurt and kill.
But that, Dave, you said it right. That got to be looked into. Where did he get this clip from? You can't even. Excuse me. The magazine. Let me say it right. I'm always shout out for that. The magazine. Where'd you get the magazine from? If anybody in this room wants to get the magazine, they give you a hard time. And I'm legal gun possession. Hey, let me look into that. They won't let you do it. You gotta jump through all these kind of hoops. So where are these youngsters able to get these things from? Those are the questions that have to be asked. And let me just one more thing. CJ said we talk about bullying. I put something online this week. Some of you clicked on it. So it's funny that we're having this conversation now. You don't know what somebody's going through. You have no idea what someone's going through, what their situation is. I always had the kind of mother is we weren't allowed to bully as young kids because so you I'm sorry. Go ahead, Will. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say with regards to the high capacity magazine, federally, I think it was the Brady bill that outlawed that some years ago. But of course, that's been kind of done away with, and it's kind of on the individual states. Texas does not have a legal limit capacity for magazines.
Yeah.
Which was my only comment. I was like, this stuff Texas seems to be that central point. Yeah. I'm sorry, I took my hand down.
The minimum age to carry is 18.
Yeah. And in some of the southern states, you can just buy magazines. There's no, you can order them online. You can walk into a gun shop. You can walk into a sporting goods store and you can buy magazines.
It's like going to the grocery store. I got it. It's like going to the grocery store. You can just pick it up anywhere.
It's no regulation. The equivalent of what Modell's would be in New York. You could walk into it down here and buy magazines. You can buy guns also. But,
Walmart too, down south.
Yeah. So, all right. And next up, we will have Don.
Yeah, my point was just something Dave said earlier about lock the guy up who opened the door. And I think the whole school had been locked up because when we was at Hempstead High School, you would open up side doors to let anybody in the school. I mean,
That's it.
I think he need to be investigated to see if there is a connection, but I doubt very highly if there was any connection with that guy who opened the door and what the student coming in. I just don't think that was the case. But investigating, I have no problem with that.
Yeah, he probably was walking by and heard the bang, 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 and just opened the door because he knew the kid. And he just opened the door. I'm just
listen. We've all done that though. I mean,
we have.
I've opened the door for a student. Most of them I knew who they were. Even if I didn't know, I was like, "What are they trying to get into school? I'm not thinking they're trying to kill us.
Go to
they're
class.
trying to, they're running late trying to get to class.
Trying to go to class.
Yeah. Or trying to sneak back in where the hall guard doesn't see him. Yeah.
Right.
That too, Derek.
Yeah.
All right. And next up, we have Jerry.
No, I already said what I had to say.
All right.
Well, we're coming to the end there. We got 4 minutes. Might as well
4 minutes.
Might as well give it over to D.
Go ahead, D. That's right. We got,
let's round this out. This video I picked, we started out with the passing of a major religious leader. And I think if we get God back in our kids, because it seems like some of these kids are doing some of the most outlandish things that I would have never thought when I was a kid. And I think because my rearing, my bringing up was always based in church and God and heaven and things. So shooting up and fighting and stabbing didn't come. You always protect yourself. Don't get me wrong, but maybe we should start out with our babies. Take a look at this video that I've been looking at all week.
Just heal my body, oh God. Just let my soul for a minute, oh God. Oh God, bless my soul and heal my sickness. Oh God, take my sickness away. Oh God, in Jesus' name, amen, oh God. And there's nobody like you, God. I bind the devil in Jesus' name, amen, God. God, the devil is not real to me, and his name is removed from my head and other people's right now, God. Do it right now, God. Stop the people, God. God, the devil is a lie, God. The devil is a liar, God. A storyteller, God. God, help us get out of here tonight.
In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. In Jesus' name, amen. Help us get out of this cornfield. Corn maze, my bad.
Donald will let him preach, but he won't let me preach.
That was pretty interesting right there. Pretty interesting. Let me just say this, Derek, once again, you did a great job. We appreciate it. We thank you for it. Next week, Will, you be prepared. We're gonna get you next week to go ahead and lead us. Thank you guys for joining us. We're praying for Cheech, JT, who we haven't seen JT in a couple of weeks. We're praying for him. We're praying for all your families, all your loved ones. Listen, it's starting to get warm outside. The temperature's starting to change, and so does attitudes. So does moods.
Yes.
So just be safe out there. Don't allow that road rage to take advantage of you. Always stay in control, because you know that it can change just like that. So be careful. Be careful. Again, just as an announcement, no, Will, you have a show. Just announce that real quick so those who are online may want to hear it and know where you are.
Well, in addition to being invited and enjoying being a part of this esteemed group, I also host a local radio show that can be accessed through Facebook Live, as well as directly from the radio station website. The show is called And Now. I do the show on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock, so during your lunch hour. I have a particularly interesting guest coming up next week. The young man is a associate vice president over their retail market for one of, if not the only, Black-owned bank in North Carolina, Mechanics and Farmers Bank. And if you get the chance to look up Mechanics and Farmers Bank, you'll see a tremendously rich history of Black excellence, and thankful that it is still in existence today. So I hope to bring him on to kind of explain the relevancy of the bank historically, the relevancy of it now, and to just share with folks another option in these very tumultuous times that are touching on every aspect of your life.
Question,
Okay, thank you.
question, Will.
Yes.
You said Facebook Live, but you did not say the station. I'm sorry.
The station is called the Oak 93.5. So if you just Google the Oak 93.5, the station will come up, and then you can go to the website, and that way you can stream it. You can hear it. You can hear the audio, but you go to the Facebook Live, which the page is Oak 93.5. Then you can actually see the Facebook Live.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
All right. Again, thank you again, Derek, and everyone else. Listen, it's 4:31, but we're ready to close it down and shut it down. Thank you to those who are on Facebook Live for joining us each and every Wednesday, Thursday afternoon. Thank you. You have to excuse me because we did start this show on Wednesdays, but we're on Thursdays now. I've been here for a long time, but thank you so much. D, thank you for all that you do. CJ, thank you for sitting over there and monitoring our online for us. And again, thank you for those who are online. Let us pray. God, our Father, we thank you again for being God and being God all by yourself. We are praying to God for all of our Catholic brothers and sisters that lost their leader. We're praying to God for all of our leaders. We're praying to God for families and friends. We're praying for law enforcement and military. We're praying to God for our nation. We're praying for our government. Praying to God that you will continue to watch over us, continue to protect us, and keep us from all hurt, harm, and danger. We thank you now. We pray to God that all will be well until we meet again. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.